think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.
All right, hey, BALLBUSTERS, Bates here with your friend of mine, Ray Mungus, and we're ready to try this again on episode 29 of Way of Life Live. All right, let's see. Can we hear you tonight, Mungus?
Hello there.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I am back.
Woo! So how you doing?
I'm awake-ish. Yeah. I got home from dinner and thought it was a good idea to lay down, stretch out my back a little bit, and I was like, I'm definitely not going to fall asleep. Definitely not. I got work to do. And I fell asleep. And now I feel very, I'm dragging. How are you?
Well, since I really didn't, eat dinner last night, and I didn't eat lunch today, I was freaking hungry. So I had happened to have a big package of just chopped meat. So I had gone to the produce market earlier and gotten everything I needed, and I made some fresh hamburgers. And you know how I make hamburgers. I make these big, fat, juicy hamburgers.
Yeah, I'm over here drooling. Go on.
So I threw two on the grill. Two big, fat ones with some grilled avocado and stuff, and big slice of fresh mozzarella. And I got through one burger and then a quarter of another one, and I was just like a big lethargic beast. I'm sitting on my couch, just nodding off. I ended up having to get up because if I stayed on the couch any longer, that was gonna be game over for tonight.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I feared. I laid down and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I had a nice dinner. We went out to Hibachi tonight, and if you go to the place that I go to, that plate is full. So I was pretty much in the same kind of situation as you. That little food coma vibe going on, and thankfully I opened my eyes and I was like, why the fuck is the light on in here? I already felt like I had slept quite a while, and I'm looking around all sorts of confused. I look at the clock and it's 20 minutes before we're supposed to go live, and as you can see, we're fashionably late. So yeah, it was a dangerous game I was playing with the whole idea of sleeping, but I made it.
Yeah, it was just one of those days. I don't know. You know what? I didn't get enough sleep last night. I went to bed late, and then my alarm decided to go off at 4:30. Well, no, I shouldn't say my alarm. The weather alarm decided to go off at 4:30 with this fucking another wicked fucking thunderstorm. That felt like it was situated right over my house. So
I've been sleeping through those, so I don't even know.
So 4:30 in the morning, just a crack of thunder right over my house just woke me up, and I was like, "Oh, you piece of shit!" So, yeah, and then I was just really fucking busy at work, and yeah, it's just one of those days.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It seems like everybody had that little cloud of thunder following them. Nobody wanted to be at work today. Everybody was dragging ass, and it was one of those days, like you just said.
But we're here. We're live. Audio seems to be working all right. I'm still not happy with the audio. I'm going to tweak it some more and probably break it again. I'm not doing it now, obviously.
Yeah,
off stream.
Please don't break it. Break it after the podcast. Like after tonight, you've got a whole week to break it. Don't try to fix it before.
Yeah, so I'm still not happy with it, but it at least sounds okay and it's working right now. But I got more work to do. I can make this better. I know I can. So again, apologize for last night for the audio, video technical difficulties, whatever you want to call it. That was purely my fault. I have since changed my streaming setup. I no longer, for anybody who doesn't know, I stream using two computers. I have my streaming computer right here, where my webcam is, and then I have my gaming computer right here. And I normally stream between the two through something that's called an NDI, which basically it sends all the data and everything just right through my home network. And I eventually decided to upgrade it to a better, more stable system. So I got an actual Elgato internal capture card. And when I streamed alone, it was fine. When I was trying to stream last night, technically it was fine. We just couldn't hear Mungus, which might have actually been an improvement to the stream. I'm not sure.
Not the show. Not the show, damn it.
And so that's what the issue was. Everything was working fine, except he was not coming through. And it took me about 45 minutes to fix it. So...
yeah, we were up for a little bit. Like the minute we took the stream offline, we kind of got down to it, and not only did we manage to, well, he fixed the stream, we also got to planning some stuff, which was good.
Yeah, we took the time to kind of just noodle around with some ideas we've been working with, and we're still noodling.
Overall, it's like a beneficial time. Like we didn't waste the time that we were given.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's see. Last week we did another Dead Entertainment live commentary that went off pretty well. I screwed up something towards the end, but no big deal. We worked around it. A little technical difficulty. I seem to be fucking things up left and right lately, but hopefully that'll be
a little bit of a transition though. You're like upgrading some equipment and things like that. You just moved into a new house. I figured we were going to like have a little bit of a period where we were just gonna trip over our own feet for a little bit, and then we're gonna get back to smooth sailing.
Yeah. So, but overall, we had a good time. It was just me and Mungus on the live commentary last week, and honestly, that's all we really need. We don't need any of those other losers joining us.
But how nice of you. Last week I felt like we did because I was so tired from the work week, and I'm like, I need somebody with energy in here. Both you and I we felt like we didn't have it until like maybe like 20-30 minutes into the film we started getting our mojo back. Yeah, well, you know what? Every time we needed energy, there would be a transition to New York, and then the music would play, and then that would perk us right back up. Yeah, but it didn't perk up the copyright holders. I'll tell you that. We got hit with a few of them this week for music and things, and well, needless to say, that funky music, we do not support it because they don't support us. I can't believe that shit was fucking copyrighted. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised, but at the same time, it's like, come on, just let us have the funky music on our show. Not like we're making money off this video. Or can't anymore. Yeah. Oh, that video anyway. Yeah, can't anymore. Anyway. Well, if we cut out the intro with that music, it would be fine. But we can't monetize anything yet anyway. Exactly. So hopefully next Wednesday we shall be back to our regular time and day. Obviously that was our bad. Like we forgot that it was 4th of July. Yeah, exactly. We thought we would be back this week, and then we realized like a day before, it's like, oh shit, tomorrow's 4th of July. Yeah, I'm gonna be drunk and at a barbecue, so yeah, no show. Yeah, I was home doing nothing, so I could have totally did the show, but I can't do the show without my PIC. Well, yeah, because who else is gonna fucking? I have everything already set up for the stream. Hey, I have OBS, man. It wouldn't look or sound or be as good, but still, I could do it. Yeah, I'm sure you could. You know what I need to do, though, is I need to tweak some settings in OBS and try to get our delay down from what we actually say to when it actually goes over to the YouTube channel. There's a massive delay, and I don't know why. So I got to fix that. It seems massive, like when you're waiting for it to catch up. But it's not terribly massive. I mean, there's television shows that have 1-2 minute delays, live television and stuff like that. We're maybe in the 15-second realm, give or take. No, it's not that long. Really? Yeah, sure. No, it's under 10 seconds. It's anywhere between 5 and 10 seconds. And I have no concept of time, so like I just pulled the number. But I mean, when I'm streaming a game, that's fine because I'm sending way more data, so I expect a delay. But we're not streaming any fucking my webcam and some audio. That's all we're streaming. So the delay should be only 1 to 2 seconds. Yeah, that's true. So something I gotta look into. Iron out. Yeah, something I gotta look into. We got to talk about that thing, or are we gonna hold off till Wednesday before we iron everything out?
I guess we can kind of just sort of announce it. I mean, we don't have all of our details done yet because it's kind of an intense.
Yeah, it got intense quick. Like things got hot and heavy a little too fast, but we're figuring it out.
Well, go for it.
All right, so last week we were talking about the last drive-in thing with Joe Bob Briggs, and if you're not familiar, he was the host of Monster Vision back in the 90s, right?
Indeed.
So basically, what the thing is on the Shudder Network, what they're doing is bringing the host of Monster Vision back and creating a presumably one-time event called The Last Drive-In. And if you're familiar with Monster Vision, he hosted movies, like double feature, sometimes single movies, sometimes 3 movies, and he also had events where they would do like more movies. So in this particular case, he's going to be doing a 13 movie event that lasts 24 hours. So we were basically kicking around ideas, trying to figure out what we want to do, and we had to mark the event somehow, do something on the Dead Entertainment channel, and have fun with it. So when we were down on our podcast yesterday trying to fix it, we were kicking around ideas, and we're possibly going to live stream all 24 hours of it. So that's happening.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how this is going to go. There could be lulls in the stream where we're passed out on the couch. But it is something we are actively working to do. This event starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Time next Friday. So, ideally, what we're going to do is I'm going to be tweaking my setup and most likely going to be doing it down in my studio here, as it seems to have the best acoustics. I have more room up in my living room, but I have very high ceilings. I'm afraid the acoustics are just going to be real fucky, and I don't want to mess with that. I mean, I could go up and actually do some test recordings, but that's neither here nor there right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to alter where my webcam is. I'm going to put it in a better spot, and it's basically going to give a good shot of everything behind me except for the TV we'll be watching the event on. Obviously, we cannot stream that. We cannot show that. That would be a big no-no, and I don't want Joe Bob Briggs mad at me. So
no.
You'll be seeing us, and hopefully you guys have Shudder Network, and you'll be watching this event. And what you can do is watch the event on your TV and maybe throw us up on a tablet or your phone or something. And we're basically going to be, commenting on the events that are going on, the movies that are playing. Joe Bob Briggs always had his mailbag, so he answers, fan mail, and he's got the mail girls, and he'll have guests who are popping in and out all throughout the 24 hours. So there'll be a lot of stuff for us to comment on. So it's going to be interactive. I'm going to have the chat up for you guys. We'll be talking to the chat and answering back, having fun. I think it's going to be a good time. I don't know how many people are going to join us. I don't know how many people are going to join us for, the bulk of it. But it's something we are definitely going to try to do. And then we have a couple of guests who are going to join us apparently. And it looks like it's going to be turning into a 24-hour live stream horror movie marathon barbecue.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be pretty cool. It's very ambitious for a site with as many followers as we do. We have, and considering we're throwing this together like a week in advance, I don't know. It just seems like we're putting something out there and just saying, "Hey, let's ride the wave and see." If we're able to keep our balance. We're going to be doing this anyway. I don't think we would have stayed up, but I think it might be fun to give it a shot. We're a bunch of old men now, so that we're definitely going to have some lulls. We're going to have a little bit of sleep going on in there. And I don't know. My brother actually told me, he goes, You guys should do some sort of charity event to go along with this, or you should have done it because like we could have advertised it, but you guys are coming up with this last hint. So yeah,
that would have been. I wish I thought of that. That would have been a really great idea. I mean, if we got, I mean, you know, if we took donations, any donations that were taken, you know, during the event, we could have found a cool charity to donate it all to.
I mean, we theoretically can still. We can iron it out, and maybe a little word of mouth could get it going. We're just hanging out. We're a bunch of dudes hanging out, watching some horror movies. So, like, if you want to come hang out and this and that, come watch it. Maybe if we put something together for charity, you know, that's an option. I'm also considering possibly setting up a phone number that you could call into the show and ask some questions or add your 2 cents on what's playing on Shudder, you know, and things like that. I mean, there's still a bunch of things we want to iron out before then, and there's still a bunch of things we're not going to have ironed out by Friday that will come up with Friday. But in any case, it's like watching a car crash up close, so you want to tune in for this. And more importantly, you definitely want to tune in to the last drive-in.
Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt there. All right. So let's go ahead and now that we got that announcement out of the way, we'll be giving more details about this ridiculous event we're doing as next week goes on. So just keep an eye on our Twitter and stuff. We'll have updates. I'll be posting updates, and maybe the Dead Entertainment Twitter page will be posting updates. As I said, we don't have all the details hammered out yet. I'm not sure how many other guests we're going to have here, but overall, it should be a pretty good time. So, looking forward to it. All right. Let's get into some horror news. Let's see if my bumpers actually come through. I tested them yesterday, and they were coming through fine. But, let's see. All right. So, horror news. It's all horror fiction, silver screen addiction. Cinematic gore, it's horror fiction, not a fact prediction. All right, so a couple days ago, I happened to come across a name of a game. I hadn't heard anything about it. I hadn't heard anything about a Kickstarter. I hadn't heard anything about this game. And I just randomly, I think on a Reddit subpage, saw the name of a game called Hide or Die. Never heard of it. I decided to look it up. And it turns out it's yet another asymmetrical survival horror hunting game. You know, just like Friday the 13th, like Dead by Daylight, and like last year, which isn't out yet, but looks very promising. But Hide or Die is a little bit different. It's actually a much larger scale game, and it's almost akin to an asymmetrical battle royal horror game. So while the other games only have 7 or 8 players altogether, this game actually has 16. And the killer will actually shift during the game. Like, I could end up being the killer if I want to be in the very beginning of the game, if I happen to find something that's called the darkness, and that then it consumes my character, and then I become the killer. And then there are different sections in each level, and if I guess I don't know if it's any characters or enough characters escape to or past the first section, then I am like deemed unworthy and I suck, and then the darkness leaves me, and then another character can go find it and become the killer, and then I become a survivor again. So they've been introducing some really, really cool elements into this game. There's a lot of, it looks like, from what I saw of gameplay trailers, there's a lot of items. There's a lot of pickups. There's a lot of like traps and defensive weapons. There's no, what I did read is there's no like real weapons. There's no guns or anything unless you are the last survivor. If you're the last survivor, then you go one-on-one with the killer, and then some weapons will begin to spawn. So it's a very interesting.
It seems really interesting. That's what I'm liking about this era of like Friday the 13th and Dead by Daylight and these games like that, because they're all challenging one another to be better than the last. And horror fans, like if you've ever been to a convention and things like that, the things that they create just out of pure love for the genre and fandom and everything, it's astounding. Whether it be artwork or like posters or like crafted items and things like that, they put their all into it, and because they're overly dedicated to the genre, that's given them so much. And the video game world is no different. So it's really cool to see like these up and coming games and developers taking what's come before and saying, okay, you know what? Like I like this game, but I'm gonna put my own sort of spin on it. I'm gonna give it this entirely different vibe and turn it into its own sort of beast. And that's what I'm liking about this whole idea.
Yeah, it's such a cool concept, and I like that they took, they're taking elements obviously from previous asymmetrical horror games, and then they're upping them and adding to them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just a very natural progression and a good evolution to pretty much everything, and it's only going to get better from here, especially if this game gains like fandom support.
Yeah, well, you know what? It had I think a $75,000 or $50,000 Kickstarter goal, and it got up to like 150.
That's awesome. That's pretty damn great, actually. Sorry, I was just looking at it myself.
You want to know what sucks? Is I found out about this game a day after the Kickstarter ended. I was like, motherfucker! I would have loved to have gotten in on it because I would have been able to get a beta code. So now I got to try to fucking finagle a beta code elsewhere. Maybe
hey, maybe we could do an exclusive review on the game.
Well, I was gonna say
emails out.
Yeah, I was gonna say let me maybe I could fucking like contact the creators and stuff and be like, listen, we can give you guys some coverage on the site if we can snag a beta key or something,
Yeah, honestly, I'd be more than happy to do like a show dedicated to it, and not in some sort of shill way or anything like that. Like I'm legitimately curious about this game, and I'd love to see how it plays, and not even just to play. Like I'd go over your house and watch you play. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd like to like talk about it because these games are pretty much the future, and if we do our part to kind of get it out there. Like even though the Kickstarter campaign's over with, now it's the time. Now more than ever, it's the best time to get more word of mouth amongst the fandom. So, if we could get a key out of it and possibly give it a shot, I'd be happy to do a review, talk about it on the show, articles. We'll see what's up.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even looking for a handout of the game. I just really would like to get into the beta, and if I like the game and the beta's good, I'll definitely purchase the game. I'm not looking to get a handout or a freebie here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the ultimate goal anyway. But just out of sheer curiosity, I want to check this thing out one way or another.
Yeah. So the game, I believe, is slated for sometime in the fall for a fall release. So I would assume beta would be starting pretty soon. I don't know if they're just going to do one beta. I would assume they would do hopefully at least two. But we'll see. I know they've done some alphas. And I think if you were like an early backer, you actually got access to some of the alphas. But I guess we'll see in about a month. I would assume that's when they'll be announcing beta dates.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, keep an eye on deadentertainment.com, and we'll definitely be updating on it. We already got the one article, which I'm going to post in chat if you're listening live. And check the page out. Bates gave a good, decent little review on it.
All right. So next up, we got I guess it's not really news on the Suspiria remake, but more of a statement from Quentin Tarantino, who apparently was able to view the movie, and I think he liked it. I think he said he liked it.
I'm like pretty impressed with this, and like if you're gonna get an opinion on a film, like from anybody in the world, like that man is a fan of movies if I've ever seen one. So like to kind of put your film through his eyes and hear that it emotionally moved him, amongst other things, I'd say that's a strong statement.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, because Tarantino seems like the kind of guy who's got a very particular taste when it comes to movies. Like he's gonna, he knows what he's gonna like and he knows what he likes, and if it's not even close, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but he just seems like he's really picky with movies.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But like more than anything, he's a fan of cinema. Like the history of it, and everything like that. I remember listening to an episode of the Smodcast, which is Kevin Smith's podcast, where he was talking about before. I guess it was before he made the movie Red State. He was talking about possibly like different options for him to cast. For the main character. He's talking with Quentin Tarantino. So basically, Quentin Tarantino rummaged through his stuff, found a VHS tape, and what it was a VHS tape of all of his favorite scenes from an actor by the name of Michael Parks. And like that always like resonated with me because I could picture Tarantino, the like masterful director, sitting there making VHS copies of his favorite scenes of an actor. You know what I mean? Like that screams like cinema fan first above anything. Like I don't know. It's something like we would do growing up when we first discovered our favorite movies and things like that. And here he is in his older age, still making amazing like Oscar-worthy films, and this is something that he does. So like I don't know, like I trust the man's word based off of of viewing a movie. So to hear that like he was really enthusiastic about it and it moved him to tears and stuff like that, like a horror movie that didn't have a lot of substance, and I might get like crucified for saying it, but the original Suspiria was all like visual. It was very, very paper thin story. It was a great film. I'm a big fan of it, but it didn't have that heart to it. Maybe I was just missing something, but watching the trailers for this one, it seems like that was the bigger focus in doing this remake. So to hear that Tarantino was like really into it, I'm like, okay, this is a couple added bonus points for like it being a decent film, decent enough to check out at least.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll see it eventually. I'm not a Argento fan. So I never liked the original Suspiria. In fact, I don't like most of his movies. Just not for me. I don't hate them. They're just not for me. So, this isn't a particular movie that I am looking forward to, but I know plenty of other people are. And I'm sure at some point I'll at least give it a chance because it deserves that much. Especially if it turns out to be a decent movie.
Yeah, exactly. And to me it seems like a bit of a departure from what was accomplished in the first one. And like I hate to sit there and become like one of those like obsessed fans or something like that where I'm like, oh, maybe it's not exactly a remake. Maybe it could be considered sequel territory or an expanded like universe sort of thing. That's like me grabbing, I guess. But at the same time, you look at the movie and you're like, wow, this thing seems to have some interesting like points that are going to basically pull me into the movie regardless. So definitely worth the chance. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and Tarantino's like seal of approval. It leads me a little more towards definitely checking it out.
Yeah. So. We'll see what happens when it finally comes out. We'll see if he was just blowing smoke up our ass or the movie actually turns out to be good. At least for fans of the original. So I can't give I wouldn't be able to give a real like non-biased opinion since I wasn't a fan of the original. But maybe I'll like this one. Maybe this one will grab me in the way that one didn't.
Right on, man.
So, The Unholy 2. For those who don't know, that was Danny Trejo and Diamond Dallas Page in Devil's Rejects. That's what the name of their characters were. The Unholy 2. Is going to be down a man we already know that Danny Trejo will return, but Diamond Dallas Page, I'm just gonna call him fucking DDP.
Just go with DDP. It's a tongue twister today for you.
DDP will not be returning. Apparently, this Rob Zombie's script, it just wasn't. He didn't really have a spot for DDP's character. Weird, because he had a spot for Trejo's character, but not DDP's. So we're not going to be seeing him, which does kind of suck. He had a really cool character. I dug both characters, honestly, but it seems like DDP understands. Because I think he said he had talked to Rob, and Rob explained to him, what was going on. It's just he never found a place for him in the script, I guess. And DDP seems to be more than okay with it. He understands.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that. He has a good perspective, and I mean, if you've seen anything with DDP, like in real life, any of his like talks or his documentaries, he seems like just such a cool dude. I met him once when I met Jake the Snake Roberts, and he is just like you could tell him the worst news, and he'd probably take it, like without being angry or anything like that. But I'm gonna sit there and try to figure out why he's not gonna be in it. And the only thing that I could really think of is based off of what Rob Zombie put on his Instagram account. And it shows a character poster of Danny Trejo's character, and it's like a mugshot like the other posters that have been released. And Trejo's standing there holding, the little police department thing. I don't know what they're called exactly, and it says 3 from Hell, but he's in front of one of those height things when you're arrested for a mugshot. And my guess, if like the two of them got arrested, I doubt they're going to be in the same prison, because of how notorious they are. And, I doubt they're really going to have access to each other. I don't think that would be a situation that would make much sense in the bigger picture of a story, and we don't know how big Danny Trejo's character is within the movie, so that also adds to it. But it kind of sucks because DDP's character was really, really well done, and I honestly didn't think he had that sort of acting chops in him, and those two characters stood out tremendously for me when I first seen it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the last time I had seen DDP in a movie, before Devil's Rejects, was fucking Ready to Rumble.
I mean, I was always a big fan of like what he did on the wrestling television shows and everything. Like he was always larger than life, and the later years he was able to change his character up a little bit. And when I seen him in Devil's Rejects, I was just like, wow, this dude could act. Like he would fit perfectly at home in one of these grindhouse type of movies, or just spending the rest of his days working in horror movies. He seems like a really good character actor.
Yeah, well, I'll say this much: he's a hell of a better actor than fucking Bill Goldberg.
My cousin would disagree with you, but
yeah, I know he would.
He's a huge fan of Santa Soleil. I'll just say that.
Yeah, one of 8 fans.
Yeah, it got us a retweet by Bill Goldberg, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of a drag that DDP is not going to be in this one. But like I get it, just by my little fan speculation. I could understand. Yeah,
but you know what? One thing you can never take away is that he's part of the the Devil's Rejects Firefly lore now. He was only in one movie, but he made an impact, and he's still part of the legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, if Rob ever goes back to Devil's Rejects and brings it back into comic form, he could have all the Unholy 2 adventures you want.
We should you know what they should do? They should write a comic, The Unholy 2 versus the Plague.
Oh wow. We should totally pitch that.
Yep.
Now, you got my gears ticking over here. For those not familiar, the Plague are 2 very standout characters in what the fuck is his name? Jason Eisner's Hobo with a Shotgun. If you've never seen that movie, watch it after you're done watching this podcast. Trust me, it's worth it.
Anyway, so this was announced not too long ago, and it's pretty crazy. Sci-Fi is in talks to bring Clive Barker's Nightbreed to television. Man, that's kind of out of fucking left field. I remember, I remember it was a few years back. We were hanging out at my house, and we ended up just hanging out watching Nightbreed.
Yeah, it's such a really cool movie that it screams television show. Like I mean, like if you see Nightbreed, you understand the concept of Midian and all of that stuff. And oh my god, just like the movie Nightbreed just gives you a taste of the world of monsters that exist within that lore. And my god, you could do like an HBO series on it, 5 to 10 seasons, easy. Just coming up with like world building for that sort of deal.
Well, isn't like the original director's cut of the movie like 4 hours long?
I don't know the exact time, but it was quite a while longer than the original cut. And even then, you still don't necessarily get like it's just a taste. You know, you don't get everything.
Yeah, well, you know what it is like as you said, it does scream like a TV series simply because there's so many characters in the movie, and a lot of characters you really only get like little glimpse of and little taste of, and that's it. Just because they really need to focus on the story and the main characters. So,
yeah, they're just like passing through a world that is just constantly moving. It's got so many moving parts and their own worlds that like that are dealt with. And by world I mean like the lives of these monsters and creatures and serial killers and mental patients and all sorts of stuff. And that doesn't even account for who they are, what they are, how they got there, and all of this stuff that could be explored on like a television format. So like, sure, Nightbreed might not be a household name for like casual horror fans. This could potentially be something really, really strong if Sci-Fi does it well. And like, sure, you could like say the word Sci-Fi Channel and think Sharknado and all these other dumb movies. But one thing that they do well is world build and some television shows. I'm trying to remember the name of the show that was really big the last few years. I forget what it was called. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. But in any case, they had a serious horror show not too long ago, and the success of it is just like continued. Like they bring a new story each season, and it's a very strong show. And I see them taking a property like Nightbreed and giving it that same sort of respect. So this could be something.
It could be. They need the proper showrunner. You know who I think would do it justice, do it right?
Clive Barker?
Well, probably. But I mean, someone with show running experience.
Go for it. Let me hear.
Steve DeKnight.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and you know what? Bring Ted Raimi on board.
Yeah, I mean, like with Ash versus Evil Dead off the air, it could work.
I think those guys could really put together something special with the world and characters within Nightbreed, man. I think it's definitely something right up both their alleys. Definitely.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this whole thing just screams potential, in my opinion. And if they give it the right people behind it, pulling the strings, it could be good. I think it could be really, really good.
Yeah, when I first heard about it, I got pretty excited just because I like Nightbreed. Nightbreed is a really, really fascinating movie, and it's the kind of movie you need to watch a couple times before you really grasp it all. But it's just great, just a very, very entertaining movie from start to finish.
Yeah, and that world, the world of Midian, just kind of really pulls you in, and you just want to find out more. You just like a character or a monster or something like that like another character walks by, you just stop for a minute in your own head, and you're like, who are they? Like, what is their existence all about? Like, it's very intriguing. You want to take like a fly's perspective view and just wander around down there and check it out.
So hopefully that's what we get if the show ever, gets greenlit. It's not greenlit yet, but if it does, we could finally be getting that as fans of the franchise.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to post the article in chat if you're listening live. Our new site correspondent contributor, Michelle Chaotic, was nice enough to write up a really cool review on. It's not a review, but it's more retrospective of the whole Nightbreed world and the things that came along the way from like the beginning film to a video game that I never even knew existed to where we are now with this television show on the horizon. So definitely check out this article if you're listening live. If not, deadentertainment.com, search Nightbreed and you'll find it.
Indeed. And just want to give a quick shout out. I see our buddy Chris Harris has finally returned to us, one of our original supporters of Way of Life from almost the very, very beginning. And we haven't seen him the last couple weeks, and he's finally popped up. So I just wanted to say, welcome back, and thanks for all the support, buddy.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was just talking about you last night, asking where you were.
He was.
And, I was like, we need to like do a stream on Way of Life, a network or whatever, just so we could get him back and be like, hey, we're over here now. So no, it's great to see you back, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Every Wednesday, this is a special one-off show on Friday, but every Wednesday like usual. So definitely come back.
Yes. All right, now. Something I'm not happy about. MGM is apparently in talks to fast track, not even just, do in a year or two, to fast track a Child's Play remake. Alright. Where do I even begin with this fucking thing?
The one clip that we used to have for our pressurizing. I feel like it's coming.
If they wanted to remake Child's Play after Seed of Chucky, I probably wouldn't have been mad. I would be like, alright, you know what? Seed of Chucky killed the franchise. There's no recovering. Well, that never obviously happened. Instead, we got another sequel in Curse of Chucky that revitalized the franchise. It made Chucky scary again. It was an engrossing story. So much new backstory, so much new lore, great characters, great kills. Everything about Curse of Chucky just was perfect. And it was back. We had Chucky back in our lives in the best way possible. A few years later, we get Cult of Chucky. Now, not as good as Curse, but goddamn, was it not a highly entertaining and worthy sequel to Curse? It got a little crazy at the end. Got a little crazy throughout the entire movie. But again, we got more lore. We got more new characters. We got even cooler fucking kills.
And best of all, progression.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like I'm more excited for the next sequel than I was for the movie. And that's not to take away from the movie at all. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. But I'm curious of where it goes from here, that's for sure.
So, you had 2 new sequels come out and breathe life into this dying franchise yet again. It has recovered from the brink of death before, and then died again, and then recovered again. And it's back. It's back, and fans are craving more. They wanted more. They were very receptive of both movies. They didn't think it would come back like this, but it did. We had Chucky back. Then we had gotten word months ago that we were getting a Child's Play television. And Brad Dourif was going to be on board, and it was going to be a continuation of the series in television form. Chucky on the small screen? Yeah, man, give it to me. I like that. That's brilliant right there. Well, now, while Child's Play and Chucky are at the height of the popularity again, popularity that I haven't seen since the fucking 80s. Now, some bigwigs decide, let's just fuck that all up and remake the movie? What? Why? Why not invest money into the series? Why not invest money into another sequel?
And this sort of came out of nowhere, in my opinion. Like, I could see them fast tracking it on the success and heels of Cult of Chucky, because like it had a lot of buzz to it, you know, especially with how the movie, you know, ended and everything. You know, like people got talking, and to me, this announcement of a fast track in July is like too little, too late. And what lit the fire under this executive's ass to make this happen? Like, I don't understand. Was there a successful killer doll movie recently where they're like, what do we got on the shelf? Chucky, you know, like greenlighted. It doesn't make sense to me.
They're trying to capitalize off the name because the popularity of the character has returned since the 2 successful sequels. You got to remember, the last few killer doll movies, what do we have? Fucking Annabelle, and I feel like there was another one. I'm not counting Saw because, I mean, even though, you know, they're Timmy the Puppet.
The remake of Poltergeist, maybe?
I didn't see it. I mean, did the clown doll kill somebody?
I don't know. I didn't see it either. I just watched the original instead.
I mean, the only one I can really think of is Annabelle, but I know there was another one. I just can't remember the name. If anyone in chat knows the other semi-recent killer doll movie I'm thinking of, just type it in chat. I'll give you your props.
But yeah, it seems so random to me. Like I get where you're saying, and the popularity is trying to be cashed in on, but like it just seems out of the blue. Like if to me it feels like they're losing the rights or something like that, and they're rushing to retain them. But even that doesn't make sense because they just made Cult.
Well, pretty much, this is the way this is gonna go. Child's Play and the character of Chucky belong to the horror fans. We have been with this character since the 80s, and this character, you know, has changed, but has still remained the same timeline, same continuity. These movies are our movies, all right? Chucky is our doll. Now, in saying that, Chucky also belongs to Brad Dourif. Now, this remake obviously is not going to have Brad voicing Chucky, and that is going to cause a massive rift amongst horror fans. And I mean, and it's obvious that it's not going to happen, and it shouldn't. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to make a lot of fans just not want to support this movie. And you know what? I can't fucking blame them. I don't want to support it.
I'm with you on that, but there's also some negative repercussions that could come of this regarding the future of the current timeline as well as the television show, because put yourself in the perspective of the executive for a second. They think, oh, it's a good cash grab, we could make money off of it, capitalize on this and that, blah blah blah. Fans immediately turn their back on it, which is undoubtedly going to happen. This movie is going to flop, and you know, like, I hate to be one of those guys, it's going to flop because it's probably one of those movies that's closest to like Robert Englund, you know, being replaced as Freddy. You know, like, you can't replace that voice of Chucky, and to even like suggest taking it into a different direction it's gonna piss fans off to the point. Like, in my opinion, no matter what they try to do, there's no doing right in this remake. So, you know, you're gonna piss people off regardless. You're gonna have people boycotting and not seeing it. It's going to flop. Now, with the way silly investors and the executives think, they're going to see a flop of the name Child's Play and maybe be a little skittish on investing money in future projects, perhaps ones that include Don Mancini, the ones that he's working on. So for them to fast track this could potentially be the end of the franchise altogether. And I hate to come off like a doomsayer here, but if the remake flops, you're going to have people less willing to pony up that money to keep the original series going. I could be wrong, but that's where I'm sitting right now, and it's a little nerve-wracking to me.
Well, to just slightly correct you, you know damn well that they are not naming the movie Child's Play. You know damn well they are simply going to name it Chucky.
Without a doubt. But the association is there, and it's going to cause a rift, I think. I think it's going to be, you know, like while Don Mancini has the money for these projects, he needs to get the movie in production. He needs to get this television show into production. beat them to print, and maybe this thing will go away. Like, I don't know.
I think it's not going to be long before like a campaign is started by fans or even Don himself to like really fucking boycott this retarded remake. There's no other way to say it. You don't remake something that's currently very successful and popular. You don't do that. That's like taking the MCU right now, right? All 20 of these overly crazy successful movies, this universe, all these characters and actors, you know, and be like, you know what? Let's wipe this clean and let's start over. We're going to get Robert Downey Jr. out as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Captain America. Now let's find somebody else. Let's just start again.
Yeah, like it would make more sense to like to work with a person that's bringing success back to the show or bringing success back to the franchise. You know, like why don't you toss him a few bucks? You know, like maybe the CGI could work a little bit better. Maybe the animatronics could look a little bit better. Take what's already working and run with it. Don't upgrade it. Don't be in a weird situation. And here's the reason they're remaking it. These executives continuously think their fans are dumb. And they're not talking about us. They're talking about new fans. They know that we're going to see this stuff or not. We're gonna talk about it regardless if it's positive or negative till we're blue in the face. We're no longer their bread and butter. The upcoming horror fans are. So they're going to basically make this movie geared towards them. But in their minds, nobody could understand sequels. This is why we've seen Batman's parents get murdered so many times, because these executives think that we have the memory retention of goldfish.
Or they're zombies.
Exactly.
Or his parents are zombies.
Yes. I mean, that would be a little bit of a better movie, in my opinion. But that's here nor there. So, like, they don't trust fans to follow a continued story, so it's really intimidating for an executive to say, oh, well, this series has been around since 1980, whatever. Yeah, no way in hell anybody's going to revisit all those movies, so let's just reboot it, remake it. You know, clean slate, and we could build it however we want. And unfortunately, these hate campaigns, not even hate campaigns, but like the lack of support towards remakes just snowballs. You know, like regardless if it's a new fan or old fan, you know, new fans are hearing what we're saying about this remake, and they're like, okay, well that sucks. I'll just watch the original. Forget this thing, and it goes snowballs out of control to the point where, you know, like it's set up to fail.
All right. Chaotic Notes in chat is saying possibly the movie I was thinking of was The Boy. It really doesn't ring a bell like it sort of does, but I don't know. So if that's the movie I was thinking of, thank you, but I feel like it was something else. Well,
that's definitely one of them. I remember The Boy. But it might not be the more mainstream one.
Wait a second. Was that the movie? Was that the movie where, like, these people were like going away and they hired these other people to like babysit this boy, but the boy turned out to be a doll? Is that the movie I'm thinking of?
I know only of like the description of it. I've never seen it. So
I don't know.
Let's wait for the answer on that. But
yeah,
I know there was some use of dolls in the most recent years. So.
All right, so you were talking about remakes. Now, listen, I'm not against remakes. I'm actually for remakes on a lot of stuff. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. I loved it. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was dirty, gritty. It was everything I wanted from a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Then we got the Friday the 13th remake, and it was sort of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Good movie.
It really was.
It wasn't great, but it was good. It just really felt like the Texas remake. Then we got the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, and then
we're not going to talk about that.
Next. And even before that, one of my all-time favorite horror movies that I like even better than the original is the and I say this all the time, guys. Like, I'm a broken record about this movie, but it's Tom Savini's 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead. I like it better than the original, right? So I'm for remakes. As long as they're good remakes. The Day of the Dead remakes we've gotten, fucking dog shit. Why are you ruining? It's bad enough you ruined my movie once. Don't ruin it. You fucking ruined it twice now.
That's
assholes. True. I swear to God, the next person who tries to remake Day of the Dead, I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna slap him with a dead fish.
Bold words.
I'm getting sick of this shit. All right, leave Day of the Dead alone.
Yeah, I agree. I also wish that they would start remaking movies that kind of needed it. You know, like I guess that's the old man in me, but like take a movie that's not so good, or maybe didn't have a good production budget or something like that, and give it a fresh coat of paint.
Yeah, what we need is remakes of just fucking like balls crazy movies. We need a remake of Street Trash. All right, let's get that going. Let's get a remake of The Fucking Stuff.
Yes.
All right, let's get remakes of some fucking movies deserving of a remake. You know, something that really needs to be updated for today's budding youth. Yeah, stay away from Day of the Dead. I'm not kidding.
I love how this went from Child's Play to Day of the Dead.
Well, no, we gotta just into remakes talk, and I'm sick of this shit. Every fucking 2 years, I'm seeing somebody tackling that movie, and I'm sick of it. Assholes.
Oh, yeah. Breathe.
Stupid douchebags. And you know what? Stay away from fucking Hellraiser, too. You assholes can't get that right either, apparently.
So I heard the sequel, the most recent sequel, wasn't as horrible as the previous.
What was it? Was it a fucking... No, that was the remake. That was like the second remake.
That was a remake?
Yeah, Doug Bradley wasn't in that.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. But, like, I don't think it was a remake. I think
it was a remake.
Really?
There was, like, I believe, like, a sequel that Doug Bradley wasn't in. And then there was, like, another remake that had, like, all these really weird Cenobites that sort of reminded me of the... That reminded me of, like, the ghost from 13 Ghosts. But, no, that was, like, a straight-up remake.
Yeah, I thought it was, like, a sequel to the... Not the Doug Bradley ones, but the new timeline. This is getting all confusing. Like, just go back to the original timelines, please.
Yeah. You know what? Better yet. Everything after Part 2 in the Hellraiser series, just wipe clean. Just forget about it. And I like Part 3, but we can forget about it. All right? Fuck Bloodlines. Fuck Hellworld. Fuck Deader. Fuck Hellseeker. Fuck whatever the rest of those stupid movies were. Just stay away from Hellraiser.
We need a new Return of the Living Dead.
Why? We got fucking... What was it? Necropolis and
Which is
Rave to the Grave? And they were
Rave to the Grave was fun. I enjoyed that one. It was a guilty pleasure for me.
But I mean, Necropolis, is that the one with the 2 parent Uber zombies?
I think so.
Oh, fuck that one in the rotting, disgusting ass, man. That was dog shit, that movie. Stay away from that fucking series, too.
So yeah, essentially the message we're trying to convey here is stop remaking stuff. Stay away from the good ones. And when you have a vital, living and breathing franchise that's still going after all these decades, cough, Child's Play, cough, don't mess with it. I just hope that Don Mancini can beat him to the punch in this, and maybe it goes away. Fingers crossed.
Before we get off this, I'm just saying I'm not one of those guys who's gonna go off on a fucking crusade because of something I don't like, or this movie's being remade. That's awful, man. We don't need it. You know what? I'm gonna be that guy in this case because the franchise is doing fine. Doesn't need a remake. So fuck you, MGM. I hope your fucking movie fails. I hope it doesn't even get off the ground. I hope us fans rally together and put the kibosh on it. You cunts. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, so if you've never seen the original Way of Life Live, that's a taste of a segment that we usually have called Pressure Rising. Yeah, so like when we get pissed off and worked up about something, that's what you're gonna hear.
It's got a death curse.
Take a sip of beer. Take a sip of beer.
I don't even have a drink. You know what? I had a beer with dinner, and then I was like, I shouldn't drink anymore. It's gonna make me sleepy. But now I'm fucking amped up. Now I want to punch something.
I'll see if I can find the guy's name who greenlit the movie, and we'll get it started there.
I'll find out where you live, man. I'll find you.
We're gonna find you.
I'm gonna stick Jennifer Tilly on your ass.
Yeah, I would not want that.
All right. So, we don't really have. Well, I was gonna say we don't really have the comic geek section tonight, but it is part of our headline. So I'll play our bumper into the headlining topic of tonight's show. So, originally we were going to do this review last night while the movie was still nice and fresh in our minds. But I fucked that up, so sue me. So here we are tonight. Tonight's headlining topic is our live reviews and reactions to Ant-Man and the Wasp. We will not be giving any spoilers yet. We will let you know when we will be talking spoilers. That will give you ample time to kind of mute us. Don't leave the stream, just mute us. And when we're done with spoilers, I'll flail my arms around like a maniac, and that'll be your cue to unmute us. How about that? That works, right?
He's gonna look like a wacky waving
inflatable arm flaring tube man.
Yeah, that.
You know what? Fuck that. I'll look like a Bailey buddy. That's a lot easier to say.
Go get body paint.
All right, so initial thoughts on the movie, and I will have my review should be up possibly tonight, or
yeah. Chris is working on it as he literally just told me that it's going to be up tonight.
Great. So I actually have my full fleshed out written thoughts on the movie up on Dead Entertainment tonight.
Oh, you want to hear something great? It's up there right now.
Oh, well, look at that. Look at that.
Timing.
It's funny how things like that work. So, overall, I really enjoyed the movie. And for anyone who doesn't know, the first Ant-Man movie is my favorite MCU movie. So, I was really, really looking forward to this. Simply because the first movie should have had Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp go together. It's just how it works. So, finally getting the Wasp was awesome. Awesome on every single level, and she delivered big time. There wasn't a whole lot of real in-depth plot and story to this movie. At its core, as you'll read in my review, this movie really is a rescue movie, first and foremost, and pretty much only. It's a rescue movie. Not a heist movie, not a save the world movie, not a defeat the villains movie, a rescue movie. They are looking to save Janet, which is Michael Douglas's character's wife, who was lost 30 years prior in the quantum realm. And they say quantum a lot in this movie. So if you go see it, just be prepared to hear quantum like 6,000 times.
And don't do a drinking game because you'll probably die.
Yeah, don't do that. Maybe do like a beer sipping game every time they say quantum.
That could work.
Yeah, that should be good.
Beer.
Make sure you have a lot of beer, but you should get a pretty good buzz playing it that way. So it was a rescue movie, and are there villains in the movie? Yeah, no, not really. Obviously, the previews show you the character of Ghost. Ghost got a bit more going on than just being a villain. It's more of just a sort of a roadblock, and you'll understand what I mean if you see the movie. She has her own motives, and they're not villainous in any way. Then you have another character named, what was his name, Simon? No, Sonny. Sonny.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This other character named Sonny, who you could technically call a villain, but he was more just like a, all right, so we have a figurehead, and he's got all of these goons who are just going to throw in that will be hero fodder. obviously Ant-Man and Wasp needed somebody to fight, so they brought this guy along and they fought his goons the entire movie.
It's like more roadblocks.
Yeah, so I call them hero fodder. Now, this guy did say, he could be more important than we think, but at this point, that this character was pretty much a throwaway character. He was very, very forgettable, really annoying, in my opinion. But he didn't take anything away from the movie.
I love him as an actor, so no matter what, I'm down with him.
I don't even remember if I've ever seen him in anything else.
Yeah, he's Walton Goggins.
Yeah, I know who he is. I don't know if I've
ever seen him in other shit. He was in like The Hateful Eight. He was in
Never saw it.
Vice Principals. Well, you suck. So
never saw it.
No, he's a great actor. It's very, very consistent.
Oh, well, that's good. I just didn't care for his character. Nothing against him. Nothing against him. Just didn't care. I liked Usman better.
You're like, who doesn't? What were your initial thoughts going into it? Like going into it, during, and like after, non-spoiler.
Going into it, I was expecting a deeper, richer story, and that it just wasn't there. It was very, very simplified. Like, as simple as it comes to an MCU movie to this point. Leaving it, I was really happy that they gave most of the characters that I love ample screen time. I was pretty damn upset that we didn't get more Janet, just because I believe Michelle Pfeiffer was killing it as Janet. She was really embodying the character, the character from the comics I've known and read. She had that real stoic, powerful woman without being, I am woman, hear me roar kind of thing. She was just very stoic, and her presence was
came off more natural to me. That was all there. It just wasn't spoken. It was like just part of her natural like body language and personality.
That's what I call, screen presence and stage presence.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You want to know what was really cool about this movie? Just so you think about this. This movie had Michael Douglas, Lawrence Fishburne, and Michelle Pfeiffer. 3 incredibly seasoned journeyman actors and actresses that have been around forever, still at the top of their game, still putting out amazing performances, and with showing like no signs of slowing down. Like, these 3 people in a movie together is just fucking mind blowing. And the fact that it was a comic book movie, what?
On top of that, they're putting on hell of a performance while sitting in the back seat. They sat in the back seat compared to everybody else in that movie, and they still put on like an incredible show.
Well, one of my favorite things about the movie was that they gave Michael Douglas a lot more to work with this movie. He was a lot more emotional. He was able to command himself way more on screen. Like, you truly felt his presence throughout this movie a lot more than in the first one. He was great in the first one, but it was just a taste. And then like we really got him in this one, and I hope we get him at least 1 or 2 more times. Maybe even like a prequel Ant-Man movie where, they do some crazy de-aging effects in these Marvel movies nowadays. So
yeah, and I mean what we saw in the movie, and that's not even a major spoiler. It's a flashback scene. You kind of knew you were going to get something like that. I was just sitting there in the theater, and I'm just like, okay, what movies could we bring these 2 back for? Like, can we get a sequel to Batman Returns? Can we get a Falling Down Part 2? You know what I'm saying? Like let's de-age these 2 actors and get some good sequels going, because the CGI work in de-aging people in the Marvel movies, at least, is untouched. Some movies have problems getting a mustache off of it.
I was about to say that. I was about to say, Marvel can take 35 years off of Michael Douglas, but DC can't take a fucking mustache off of Henry Cavill.
Yeah, so like it is remarkable how amazing they looked when you seen them de-age. Like I saw Michelle Pfeiffer of Batman Returns days. Like it was unbelievable. So I'm really hoping that the rumors of the potential prequel are true because, boy, would that be an achievement.
Yeah, the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War when they de-aged him for that one scene, that one flashback scene. I mean, he looked like I felt like I was watching, Weird Science or Back to School and seeing him that young again.
Yeah, it's remarkable, and each time that they do it, it's only better. And like Sony, like. Why don't you guys drop in Ghostbusters? You know what I mean? Like you could de-age Bill Murray, bring back Harold Ramis. Let's make it happen.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd be on board with going that far.
Yeah, but you know me and my Ghostbusters.
I do.
Anyway, that's beyond the point.
I do. But yeah, no, we'll leave that there.
But in any case, what they do with the technology is just amazing each time that they pull it out. It's crazy how far they progressed.
It really is. And what is great is, as simple as the plot is in this movie, a lot of things don't suffer because of it. The humor was good in this movie. I think it was a lot better in the first one. I did find myself laughing for no reason at a lot of humor being forced. There was a lot of silly scenes that just didn't make a lot of sense. Obviously they were just there for comedic purposes. One character I really did not like that I felt was completely out of place? That FBI guy.
Okay, I can see that. I'm a big fan of him. I forget his name. He was in the Kim Jong-un comedy.
Kim Jong-un comedy? Oh, what?
Yeah, the interview or something like that.
The interview, yeah.
Seth Rogen. Yeah, Randall Parks, maybe his name. I forget his name, dude. He's more he like improvs a bit more. The stuff at the end had me rolling, and this I'm not even going to bring up because we're not in spoiler territory yet. But that last scene with him and Paul Rudd had me cracking up.
Yeah, I guess it was okay. I don't know. I just felt he was just a very awkward character, and I felt that a lot of those really silly scenes were kind of coming off as like wannabe Judd Apatow scenes,
Well, that's their style, though. Those style are basically you take two really funny actors and just put them in a room and let them play, and whatever works best will they use. I also feel some of that forced silly humor is not for people like you and I, and it's more for like spoon feeding it to the children audience to give them something little to crack up at, like the drum set stuff, like and things like that. Like it seems like it's more geared towards the kids in the audience as opposed to the ones that are like, all right, give me some legit funny stuff.
Yeah, I get it. It was just it's the only movie in the MCU I've seen so far where it's just been like really, like, really, this is where we're going with this. All right,
I'm okay with that. Like I could separate it, and it's not going to ruin my life if a scene is a little more immature or something like that. Like I get to that point where I'm like, oh, okay, right on, and move right along.
Like I'm all for silly humor. It just needs to work. It just needs to flow. Like, you want to know one of my favorite scenes in all of the MCU, and every time I see it, I still fucking crack up every fucking time.
Is it the Thomas the Train thing?
No, but I do love that scene.
That's one of my favorites. When it cuts to the train falling off the tracks, I laugh so hard all the time.
No, it's actually a scene from Thor: The Dark World where Thor walks into somebody's apartment, and he goes and he hangs Mjolnir on a fucking coat hook.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why. It's so stupid, but it's like, it just, that flowed. Like, oh, he sees a hook? Okay, it makes sense. I'm gonna go hang up Mjolnir. Every time I see it, I crack up. Or the one after credit scene in that movie where the Frost Beast is still running around London. Whatever happened to that Frost Beast? I don't know. That's why it's funny. Shit like that is great. Or at the end of Ant-Man, where where you had the enlarged ant at the end of the first Ant-Man movie, he was still running around. You know, that's stuff like that. I like that. That's funny to me. That doesn't feel forced. It feels very natural, very free-flowing type of humor. And this movie just had a few spots where it's just like, oh yeah, we kind of missed on that one. But oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and you know, like even though it does have those spots, it doesn't take away from the overall thing. It's not gonna ruin your movie experience. You're gonna, you know, you're gonna note it and you're gonna move forward.
Yeah. You know what it is in the very you'll see it in the very beginning of the movie, and then it's very here and a little bit there in the rest of the movie. But once you get past the silliness in the beginning of the movie, and you start getting into the action scenes which, my God, fucking top notch. Some of the best action sequences, scenes, and chases you will see in a Marvel movie to date. The car chase was, dude, that entire like car chase final battle sequence was like the last third of the movie.
Yeah, like in the thing about this movie with the pacing and everything, it just comes at you at such rapid fire pace. I don't even know how to say it. It's just one thing after another, and before you even know it, you're at the end and just getting tons and tons of action thrown at you, and then it just the time flies, and you feel like you could hardly catch your breath during all the action, which I think is a good thing. It's a great thing, actually.
Yeah, the movie moves really, really fucking fast. There's no time to catch your breath. You're fucking going from here to there, from A to B to Q. And
yeah, seriously, I know it's definitely a 2-hour movie. Is it longer? I don't even know. It didn't feel like 2 hours.
Our movie started at 6. I felt like we got out like at 8. So
yeah,
it was about 90 minutes, give or take. I don't know.
I'm looking up 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Is it really that long? It did not feel that long.
Yeah, it did not feel like it felt like a straight 90 minutes.
Huh. Alright, well, I just posted in chat my spoiler-free written review for the movie. And
that means we might be getting gloves off soon, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's a really too many spoilers we really need to dive into, though. Thinking about it, I mean, obviously, the one mid-credit scene, but I don't even think that was that big. Like, I get it. I can't really.
I mean, if you want to keep it spoiler free, we can. I'm more than fine with that.
Yeah, I don't think we really need to really dive into any spoilers because there was no massive spoilers. I don't think.
Nothing that you know already, or nothing that you don't know,
or couldn't sort of guess or figure out. We're not. We won't. Obviously, we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna dive into them. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's no problem.
But it's like put it this way: if you enjoyed the first Ant-Man movie, you're gonna like this movie. You're gonna get what you got in Ant-Man plus some extra. You're gonna get Wasp, who I haven't really spoken about yet. She was amazing. Just so goddamn badass. Like everybody talking about, Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. Yeah, fuck her. All right. Wasp was just powerful and commanding, and both versions of Wasp just they take your breath away with just how great they both are.
Yeah, especially on this level when, you know, like she's sharing screen time with somebody that's already been established. So she's already got like an uphill battle to kind of friggin' take on, you know, and to be on equal footing with Paul Rudd's Ant-Man and then some. You know, like it's quite the accomplishment, you know, and the two of them, you know, like we've had what, a glimpse of Janet in the previous movie and a little of exposition. We didn't really see anything about her. She wasn't like even cast. Michelle Pfeiffer wasn't even cast as her, but the two of them just they scream power. They scream all sorts of stuff. It's just fantastic writing, fantastic acting. It's well worth it.
Yeah, and you know, Paul and how do you say her name?
Evangeline, is that it?
I don't even know how to say her name. Evangeline. I'm gonna call her just E. Lily. Paul and you know, Rudd and Lily had a really good chemistry in the first movie, but it got amplified to extreme levels to the point where if you look at other partnerships in the other Marvel movies, if you look at Captain America and Black Widow and Falcon, or you look at Iron Man and War Machine, or you look at the Guardians, or I don't know, Thor and Loki. They're great. They're all great partnerships, but they do not have this really solid chemistry that Ant-Man and Wasp have in this movie. It is by far my favorite partnership at this moment, and I need to see more of it, and I can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah, especially this early on. Like you have that sort of like chemistry between those people that you named, but this is how many movies into the series. Like we have like 2 movies with these two, and like let's be real, she wasn't the Wasp in the first one. So like we're at that point where this is her real first outing, and the chemistry just like it kills. Like it's unreal what the two of them accomplished together and separately too. More so, I'm like kind of excited to see the Wasp play with other characters. You know, it seems like this has been a long time coming, and I wonder if this is Kevin Feige's way of like really building to the powerful females in his universe, you know, like holding them back, you know, as long as they did, and developing a universe where we absolutely need him and we're yearning for him. And here's E. Lily, because I can't say her name either, kicking in the door, flying in the most micro way possible, and leaving such an impact, you know, like where she came from and where she went. So I'm really excited to see her going forward. Like I'd love to see a Wasp movie on their own and tell where things left off in the movie. I'm not going to get into spoilers. Maybe we might. So we're definitely going to see her in Infinity War, I'm sure.
Hope.
Sorry.
And, you know, just for anybody who was fans of the original, obviously you were definitely a fan of the character of Luis. And yes, Luis is back in full force. He gets plenty of really funky screen time, but he makes use of every second he has on screen. And he'll have you fucking just rolling all over again.
I'm so happy that man is having success. I really enjoyed him in that Seth Rogen mall cop movie, Observe and Report. He was hilarious in that movie back in the day. And just seeing what he was able to accomplish in Ant-Man 1, and to see him come back and hit a grand slam for a second time, you know, like it was incredible. Because you know, like a character like that, you think he's one note, and he might be, but to be able to, I guess, keep that same sort of vibe and make another hilarious outing out of his character, it's, you know, it's something special, you know, and he pulls it off very well. And he's probably the scene stealer in a lot of the movie.
Yeah, well, the interrogation scene, that was
yes.
Just thinking about it, I'm laughing. He's just great. And then Dave and Kurt are also back. They seem to have gotten a less screen time in this movie. Kurt actually has a really funny scene. He was the one computer hacker with the thick like Russian accent. He actually has a pretty funny scene. Dave, the character played by rapper T.I., I feel like he was wasted. I liked him in the first one, and I feel like they just did not give him anything to do this movie. So
yeah, I felt that way about the two of them. I mean, they were there. They had a handful of moments where you kind of laughed at what they said or the way they reacted worked in the moment, but like I don't know. They didn't seem like they were as important to the overall story as they were in the previous one. And I think it's because the scale's a little bit bigger in this one.
Yeah. No, I mean, as I said, I was happy with some of the funny scenes Kurt had. I just wish they gave Dave another good scene or two. But
yeah,
when you're in a movie with Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer and Lawrence Fishburne and Paul Rudd, you're gonna kind of get shoved to the back a little bit. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, totally. I'm excited. Like this is might be weird to say, but the Paul Rudd's or the kid, Scott Lang's daughter, like
Cassie.
Yeah, she kind of like progressed pretty well between the movies. Like I was watching it, and I'm like, wow, she's gonna be a good little actress. Just I don't know. Like a lot of these kid actors, as they grow up, they don't retain that talent, or maybe they lose their cuteness or age or whatnot. But like, she's full of charisma. That little girl, and it was a little thing I noted in the movie. I'm like, wow, she's gonna make that transition into a teenage and adult actress pretty seamlessly, I think. Well,
if the MCU is alive and kicking in 10 years, maybe we'll be on, phase 6. Cassie does actually become a superhero in the comics.
So yeah, I mean, they've already picked somebody really well to fill those shoes if they ever get to that point.
She becomes a character known as Stature.
Right on. So he gets his partner after all, huh?
Yeah, so I mean that it would be good for maybe like a Young Avengers movie or a Secret Warriors, or she's the kind of character you could throw into any younger team. Even like a West Coast Avengers movie.
Yeah, I'd be all for that. I mean, especially with the with like the Teen Titans and those sort of things moving into production over in DC's corner of the ring. I could see that. I could see like a more younger adult oriented team or set of television shows or movies or whatnot.
Yeah, pretty much. So I mean they got a lot cooking right now. So it'll be interesting to see where they take some of these younger characters in a couple of years.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, I had a blast. Thing that I wanted to note real quick was that after Infinity War, and let me just backtrack to that if you haven't heard the interview or the review we did for Infinity War. When that movie ended, I kind of like needed the credits to really gather my thoughts and reassess my life and everything like that. I needed to sit there and wait for that end credit scene because I was just like, my God, everything that was accomplished throughout the entire MCU leading up to that point, and what I had just witnessed was like, it was too much to really comprehend. I really need to look back and reflect on it. So this, with that being said, this was a nice little palate cleanser after that. Like I needed a movie that wasn't so dark. I needed
It's so dark.
But I needed a different vibe going into this next phase of the MCU, and Ant-Man delivered. Ant-Man and the Wasp delivered in pretty much every aspect of it, and then it reminded me that we're living in the Infinity War world. So it's like, all right. So you get a little bit of everything in this movie.
Yeah, it's a great. As I said in my review, it's a great cool down movie after the emotional tornado that Infinity War puts you through. So,
Well said.
it's the worst thing about probably the worst thing about this movie is that at the end of the movie, that means that you have to wait until March until your next Marvel fix.
I feel like we had a really good slate of movies this summer and throughout the year that I'm okay with that. I could use a little bit of me time for now, but I'm looking forward to whatever comes next, that's for sure.
Well, next movie we got lined up would be Captain Marvel, and I am so excited for that. I'm actually going to save up some money, and I am going to be picking up some Captain Marvel swag. I need some Captain Marvel swag. I have a whole shelf over here of all cosmic characters, because I'm a cosmic guy. I love the cosmics end of Marvel, and I don't have any Captain Marvel, and it needs to change.
I could definitely see that. You know what? I think after last night, it might be just the hype that I'm riding on, but I think I need some Ant-Man stuff. I need a gray matter art Ant-Man and the Wasp print. That's what I really need.
Yeah, I need another Ant-Man poster too. The three I have aren't enough. Well, I need to get that. I need to get that third one from Gray Matter.
Yeah, man, you have way too many Ant-Man posters.
I don't have enough.
I have a lot of Marvel stuff, but I only have a small mini statue. I think it was by Eagle Moss of Ant-Man, and that's all I have right this second. So I definitely need to add a couple pieces. Maybe I'll pony up a few bucks and buy a hot toy Ant-Man and the Wasp. We'll see.
Well, what's really funny is, as big as a fan of Ant-Man I am, I actually don't have any Ant-Man collectibles. I have a Giant Man. I have a Yellow Jacket, and when I say Yellow Jacket, I mean actual when Hank Pym was Yellow Jacket in the comics, and I have a Goliath collectible. I have every other version of Hank Pym except for Ant-Man.
But the funny thing is you've got enough posters to make up for that.
Yeah, it's true. And as I said, I will be getting that last one from Gray Matter. They have 3. I only have 2 of them, but I also have a Mondo Ant-Man art print that I managed to score somehow.
Yeah. I have no idea how you managed that. Anytime I want a Mondo poster, I'm just gonna have you try for me.
I've only been able to get 2.
2 more than me.
But they seem like every time I go to look at something, like, oh, this looks kind of cool, and then I see the price. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I really wanted to get that Jaws poster until I saw the $150 price tag, and I was like, you know what? I've got a fucking mass-produced Jaws poster sitting in my closet. That's good enough. Plus, and I don't want to get too far off track here, I have one of those Todd McFarlane 3D movie posters.
Yeah, I saw that one yesterday.
It's a beaut.
All right, so final verdict on the movie.
Me? Yeah, I loved it. I think it was a lot of fun. I'm actually, while we're sitting here streaming this, I bought tickets to go see it again tomorrow. I'm going to go see it again at 1:30, and I'm looking forward to kind of like seeing it without the hype, without the excitement, because first viewing you have so much to take in, and with how fast paced the movie is, you're just like, oh wow, there's so much, I can't deal with this. So the second viewing is always a good a way to like see things that you missed, and I'm looking forward to it. But overall, my problems, I guess, with it are not nearly as strong as yours, and yours aren't that strong either. But it's I felt like they could have done a little bit better when it comes to like adding a little more substantive storyline. But we've gotten to that point where in this particular movie, with how the flow of everything went, it didn't necessarily need it. I would have just liked it. I also would have liked to see a little more Michelle Pfeiffer in this film, because she's tremendous. I've liked her in so many movies over the years, and she just becomes the character. Like, she was perfect casting. So I guess if we're gonna give it a score, maybe 8.5. Solid movie. Yeah, how about you?
Yep, I gave it a clean 8 out of 10. It wasn't as good as the first one for me, but I got a lot more of the characters I liked, and I got a lot more of these new characters that I like even more. So it was a really, really strong sequel. It was, if I had to compare them to the other ones, it was better than Iron Man 2, much better than Thor 2. Just as good in my opinion, as Captain America 2. And honestly, just maybe a little bit better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
I wouldn't go that far. I really, really loved Guardians 2, but it's a fun movie. It's definitely worth your time. Bring your kids, bring your family. If you just want something enjoyable to do this weekend, totally worth it.
Yep. So there you go. There is our thoughts on Ant-Man and the Wasp. I will probably see it again in theaters because I did enjoy it, and maybe seeing it a second time I'll enjoy it a little bit more. Now, knowing that some of the humor is a little silly, a little goofy, but maybe I'll like it a little bit more the second time. Not that I don't like it, I loved it. I just wanted just a little bit different, but I can't complain too much. All right, so I think that's it's gonna wrap it up for us. I think. What are we even at? Yeah. I don't even know.
We did pretty decent tonight, I think. As far as time went, hour and a half.
Is that where we're at? I'm trying to look at the time right now.
You have a few songs of music. I think we started.
I only played two songs.
Yeah, but I think we started closer to 8:30.
Yeah, I'm seeing about $1.45 on my OBS right now. Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad at all. Well,
not bad for trying to fit two podcasts into one. Tonight should have been episode 30, but we had a little rough start yesterday.
I had the rough start. You don't even have to include you on that.
You know what?
Well, you know what? Technically, it was your fault because we couldn't hear your fucking voice. So if I didn't have you, it wouldn't have mattered. So it would have been fine. So yes, it was all your fault. Thinking about it now.
Says the guy who decided to get equipment that he didn't need because
I needed
broken.
It. I needed it.
You didn't need it. You just wanted a toy to play with. See, the show's ending after episode 29. That's it. We're done. Just kidding.
Game over, man.
Game over, man. We'll be back next week for another episode and potentially disastrous 24-hour live stream.
Yeah, guys. If you weren't here in the beginning, just real quick, we are playing a 24-hour. I guess you would kind of call it like a co-op stream alongside Joe Bob Briggs' hosting of The Last Drive-In, which is a 24-hour horror movie marathon. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I don't even... Why did we think this is a good idea? I don't know.
I don't know. But if this whole Joe Bob Briggs thing is going to be on the Shudder Network, I think they're offering like a free 7-day trial or something like that. So like, kind of like line up your timing and all that good stuff to get the 24 hours for free. I mean, stick around for the network. It's an awesome network, but you might be able to get the little trial run. I know there's a couple codes floating out there on Joe Bob Briggs' Twitter, and sign up for it and watch these movies with us. I think I'm going to try to set up a phone number for next Friday, so maybe you call in and hang out and talk some of our viewers that we've had for the last 29 plus episodes. It'd be awesome to hear from you. And
you can also. We can also just give access to the Discord channel or create just a Dead Entertainment Skype name.
That's possible. We'll work something out. I think it'd be fun. I want to get some different voices in, and I'm gonna just drag random people just to have fun and make it interesting. We're gonna have to grasp at straws to make 24 hours entertaining.
There's gonna be a lot of alcohol, I presume, and
oh yeah, big time. I haven't drank in a while, but I'm drinking.
So, if I had the bar.
We don't need a bar. We're good with it.
All right, so keep an eye on more news on that coming up later in the week. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Very good episode. I'm very happy with how tonight went after the disaster it was last night. Thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button on this channel. We do this every week. I know I said this last week, but I swear to God, next week we will be back on Wednesday, 8 p.m. That is our normal day-ish, 8 p.m.-ish. That is our normal day and time every Wednesday night. So make sure, if you like what you heard tonight, make sure you come back this coming Wednesday in a couple days. Hopefully we get some news to actually fill out an episode. Otherwise, it's going to be a short episode.
I already started writing stuff, so we're good. Like, even if you didn't like what you heard tonight, come in next Wednesday and let's talk about it. Let's hear what you want to hear. I see we have 1 thumbs down right now from some asshole. I want that asshole in here to come in here and tell us what they want to hear differently. Come on, let's hear. Go.
And guys, like, we're interact more in chat. We're cool with that. We will, bounce all ideas, give us suggestions or statements on what we're talking about. That's what the chat is there for us to interact with you guys. Make sure you follow us over on Twitter at DeadEnt site. You need to fix that.
I just looked for that.
Because I almost said the rest of it, and I'm like, that's fucking twice now. You need to fix that. I'm going to fuck up one day. You can also like us over on Facebook, facebook.com/deadentertainment. Also, make sure you check out my YouTube page, Live Deliciously in Game. Right now, I have a giveaway going on for a 24x36 Gray Matter Art Prometheus print. So go over to my page, Live Deliciously in Game, and check out the July giveaway video. Follow the rules in the video. It's very, very simple. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and then you have to leave a comment and answer some questions, and you're automatically entered in to win. Very simple. Chance to win a really cool print. All you got to do is fucking leave a comment and subscribe. What more do you want?
Yeah, look for my comment. Look at the one that's gonna beat all of yours, and try to match it up.
It's not a matter of beating anything. It's just that is your entry. Then your name goes into a head.
House, and I'm going to hold you at knife point until you pick my name.
And obviously, last but not least, make sure you check out Dead Entertainment Com for all your horror needs and a little bit of geek needs. As you can see, that they are allowing me to post my Marvel reviews, just because they're such big movies and I'm such a massive fan. It's it's a little bit of a way to get some more clicks, some more traffic, and kind of broaden out to a slightly different group of people. So
yeah, not only that, most of us on the website are fans of these comic book stuff. We've grown up playing different types of video games, and it's always good to kind of have more of our personality shine through on the site. So you're going to see a little more of that in the coming weeks, just because we love this stuff that we're talking about and writing about. So keep an eye out for it.
Pretty much, man. You got anything else to say?
Not really. Definitely come by next Friday, because this is going to be a disaster. I'm like, I kind of want to split myself into 2 just so I can watch how bad and weird this thing's going to be, and participate at the same time. So yeah, definitely come tune in for the regular show. Come hang out for the 24-hour cast or whatever we're going to do. And maybe if you want, follow me on Twitter at Ray Mungus.
Yep, and you can follow me on Twitter at Bates_MotelMT. All right, guys. Thank you again. We will see you next week. And remember.
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life.